Welcome to the Next Step Podcast. We're recording this in the beginning season of the holidays, and this is episode number 29. The Next Step Podcast is all about this. It's for people like you to get to know other people like you that are taking their next step in their journey with Jesus Christ. Today, I have the high honor, the great privilege of introducing to you Tywannia Horn Christian.
Yes.
Welcome, Tywannia.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
One of the newest homeowners in Belmont, as a matter of fact, and I worked really hard to make that happen, but I don't want to get too far ahead of that story. So we're glad you're here, and you've been in our church for, at least 7, 8 years, a decade?
No, it's been a lot longer than that. I think my daughter was like in 4th grade, and my son was like in 5th grade when we started attending.
And they're now in college, right?
My daughter she's living in New York. She went to college at New York Film Academy. She has a scholarship there. And my son, he turns 22 actually this Friday.
Fantastic. Tell us your children's names.
Okay, my son's name is Christian John Christian. Right. I told him with a name like that, so he's destined for greatness.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And so, and then my daughter's name is Ari John Day Christian. So that John, the kind of name after their father, John.
And so what are they studying in college and everything? What are they doing?
Ari, like I said, she went to New York Film Academy.
Okay.
She's doing film. So she's had been in some roles while she's been in New York.
Awesome.
The High School Musical is coming out in January.
Right.
And so she was an extra in that. And so she's still working on that career, and she's planning on going back to school. She wants to do esthetician.
Okay.
And have her own business. And she's such a little entrepreneur herself. And and Christian, he's into music, and but right now he's working at Amazon. But he loves music as well. All right,
there's a family theme there, but we'll get to that. Tell us about you. Where'd you come from? Where were you born? Where'd you grow up?
Okay, I was born in Troy, North Carolina.
Okay.
I grew up in a little small town called Mount Gilead, and grew up right behind, maybe like 2 miles from Town Creek Indian Mound.
Okay.
Which is a historical place. I am half Native, African American. So I grew up there. My mom, single mother, along with my great grandmother that raised me.
Wow.
And so, country girl. I am such a country girl. People don't believe that, but I came from humble beginnings, very, very humble beginnings. Whereas we planted gardens for our food. We didn't have running water. We had well water. We didn't have a bathroom at the time. We had the outside bathroom. We had a big house with the high ceiling, the high porches, but it was an older home. I loved it. But some of the things that people may want today, like a tin roof, we had like 2 fireplaces. Had the opportunity to experience how to raise hogs and also how to slaughter hogs.
Oh, you did that too?
I did all of that. Come on. I did all of that.
How about that?
So yeah, it's very humble beginnings.
You are a woman of many talents.
Yeah.
But that teaches you some hard lessons that you learn and can apply in other parts of your life, right?
Yes. And at that time, some people would say you were poor, but I just looked at it as just like I said, very, very simple life. And it really taught me a lot. Whereas like now I love to garden. My grandmother had like 2 and 3 gardens when I was younger. And now I love the garden.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, we're going to tell you about where you're gardening these days in a few moments. But so you grew up in Mount Gilead. Did you go to the Montgomery County High School?
So actually it was in Mount Gilead, but we was in Richmond County.
Okay.
This is called Mangum.
Okay.
And so we went to school in Richmond County.
Okay.
And in Ellaby, North Carolina.
Yep.
And so my first 10 years of my life, I went to school in Ellaby. Lived there. My mom got married when I was 10.
Okay.
And then we moved to Rockingham. But I still went to school in Ellaby because my mom was the secretary at the middle school.
Okay.
And then when I went to high school, Richmond Senior High in Rockingham.
How far of a drive was that, Ellaby to Rockingham?
It was probably like 15 minutes.
Oh, it's not a long drive.
Not long at all. 15 mints. Yeah, Andre the Giant used to live in Ellaby.
Oh, really? No kidding.
Andre the Giant, yeah.
The Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant, yeah.
Is that where he was from?
I'm not really, but his home was there. I'm not really, he's like originally from there, but his home was there.
Wow.
So
Ellaby. Fascinating story.
Yeah.
So went to Rockingham High School. And so in high school, you were quite an athlete, I'm assuming.
Yes, I was. However, I played basketball in junior high school.
Okay.
But in high school, I was a cheerleader and I ran track track and field, and was in every club that I could get in. I was in every club.
What were your specialties? What did you do in basketball and running track?
Basketball, I played guard.
Okay.
And track hurdles.
Okay.
Hurdles and relays.
Fantastic. Mm-hmm. You're fast then.
Yeah, I think I was pretty fast. I made it to the state finals my senior year, and which led me to going to running track in college.
Awesome. So was Mount Gilead or Rockingham, I should say, high school, was it Richmond Senior High School? Was it a 4A school, 3A school?
It was a 4A school. We had
so you ran against the hardest competition.
Yes, we had one high school in the county, 4 different junior high schools that attended that school. Mm-hmm. So everybody know that high school for football.
Okay, yep.
Because we have produced so many NFL players and just a lot of great talent, a lot of great people in Rockingham. I love my old town.
How cool is that? Mm-hmm. And so then you left high school, you're preparing to do one thing, if I remember correctly, and then you got derailed and rerailed.
Yes. So I did, like I said, I was running track. I did not plan to go to college to run track, but I made it to the state finals, and I was excited about that. However, I had planned to go to King's College in Charlotte for marketing, and that's what I wanted to do. However, running track, made the state finals, and I had a lot of colleges, wanted me to go to their school. And I told Mom, I said, I haven't taken the SAT. And I did that on purpose, kind of. And I said, so, because I didn't need an SAT to go to King's College. And so anyway, she said, yeah, you're going to take the SAT. So took the SAT, but went to Wallace State College in Huntsville, Alabama. Okay. So it was a junior college, and I ran track down there.
Fantastic. You ran hurdles?
Hurdles. Hurdles and relays.
The high hurdles or the long hurdles?
High hurdles. The high hurdle, 100 hurdles.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's translated into one of your jobs these days. What are you doing now in terms of?
Yes, I am the head track coach for girls at Ashbrook High School.
That's amazing.
So I've been a track coach at Ashbrook High School now for about 7 years.
Yeah, but y'all, this is more like a hobby than it is like coach. Wait till you hear and find out more about this. So take us up to Wallace High Junior College and what happened there, and so then where you went from there.
Okay, so at Wallace State, I liked it. It was okay, but it was really different. It was in Alabama. Yeah. In Coleman County, if anybody ever heard of that. And actually, the college is named after George Wallace.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yes. And I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
And my father that lived in Gastonia at the time, and he's like, Tywannia, do you know what college you're going to? I'm like,
what kind of guy this was?
Yeah. I'm like, okay, but I went anyway. Yeah. I went anyway and ran track down there. And then I decided after a year that I wanted to come back closer to home. Mm-hmm. And so I got accepted to Bennett College in Greensboro. Mm-hmm. However, I told my mom I wanted to work before I go to the college. Because I know the girls, they dress real nice, and I wanted all these little fancy, nice clothes. I wanted to make some money to go to college, but I started traveling. Okay. And going around the country, traveling, doing door-to-door sales.
Door-to-door sales.
Yes, publication, knocking on doors.
Selling magazines. All that kind of stuff.
Yes.
That is tough going right there.
Yeah, when I look back on it, I could really how did you do that? Because, of course we were going great cities, but, we're walking around in neighborhoods. Wow. Walking around in neighborhoods. And some neighborhoods, you better have an ID.
Oh, absolutely.
You better have ID. And one time I did not have an ID.
Okay.
Yeah. And someone called the cops on me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I did go to jail.
Did you really?
Yes. Come on. I didn't do anything wrong, like I said, but it was in Texas, and it was kind of crazy. And I didn't have my ID on me. Yeah. And so my company, they did get me out, but I learned to have my ID. Yeah. And I'm like, this is crazy. Wow. And my mom was crying and was like, oh my God, I can't believe you.
Bless your heart.
Yeah. And I wasn't scared though.
So you didn't get charged? They dropped the charges on you?
Yeah, I didn't get charged. I didn't get charged,
Wow.
Soliciting, but it was the good soliciting.
Right. Soliciting to sell magazines.
Exactly, sell magazines, trying to make money.
That's amazing though. What a great skill to be able to learn.
Yeah.
Your foot in the door, or have door slammed in your face, and
door slammed in my face, all of it. But I just laughed it off, It's like when you're working in sales, you tend to try to figure out or try to see how many no's you can get.
Yeah.
And it becomes a game.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get like 30 no's today.
Yeah.
Everybody's not going to say no.
That means you've got 30 asks, right?
Right.
So how many asks would you make for every yes?
It just depends. Probably, like average of like maybe 10.
Okay.
Yeah. If they came to the door.
Okay.
Cause I was out there like all day pretty much.
Yeah.
So it just depends.
So would you circle back to some of the same houses if they didn't answer the door in the first place, or did you just kind of move on?
I would circle back.
Yeah.
I would circle back. But it was very interesting. It was very challenging sometimes,
Sure.
but a lot of life lessons.
Right.
One particular lady I never forget in Omaha, Nebraska.
Omaha.
And very nice lady, and we talked, and it seemed like a lot of them like to just have just regular conversation, which I did too.
Right.
But she told me, she said, never be afraid to do more than you get paid for, because the day will come when you get paid for more than you do.
Huh. What a great lesson. Say that again. Never
be afraid to do more than you get paid for.
Okay.
Because the day will come when you get paid for more than you do.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's going the extra mile means you're going to make the extra dough.
Yes, absolutely.
That's cool. So you did that, and you said in our previous conversation as we were preparing for today, that you were in every state in the country?
Just about every state except like maybe
Alaska.
I didn't go to Alaska. I didn't
Hawaii.
go to North Dakota, South Dakota, no Hawaii.
Okay.
But pretty much all down south, California, of course. I think I probably went to about 39 states.
That's fantastic.
About 39.
What a great education.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Then after, while traveling, then I decided when I got to California, I was dating someone, and he and I lived in California. His family was from there. So we lived in California for like a couple of years. And then I decided to come back to North Carolina.
Okay.
And at that time, I think my brother, he was a senior in high school. And I really did want to come back and be with him too. Had a crazy boyfriend that even pushed me to come back even more.
Yeah.
So, but so I came back, I think it was like in 94. And start back, attending school and just, being there for my family.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. So along the way, you got married.
Along the way, I got married. So when I came back, I did meet my husband at the time.
Okay.
I think it was in 94, like his father. So I met him in 94.
Okay.
And he and I got married in 1998.
Okay.
November 1998. We got married. And after 3 years of being married, our son Christian was born. And 17 months later, my daughter Aria, she was born.
Wow.
So we was married for like 13 years before we got a divorce. And yeah, so yeah.
So you've made it as a single mom out there in the culture with all the pressure that goes along with that too. But but not only that, a single black mom, which carries its own set of challenges.
Yeah.
So I would assume part of the reason you got put in jail in Texas was because you were black in a white neighborhood.
Yes, I
was. And that kind of stuff. That was 2000. What?
No, that was in the 90s.
In the 90s,
I'm telling my age.
But still, by the same token, that's something that a lot of people still live with and stuff like that. Yeah. I remember back when all this stuff was going on in 2020, Dale Robinson was my prayer partner. He grew up in Alabama and I was growing up in New Orleans.
Okay.
And I said, so tell me about this experience and what is it like to experience racism and things like that. And he said, Pastor, how many times have you been stopped in the middle of the night for no reason? I said, well, not any. So he works for the U.S. government. He has a doctorate of veterinary medicine. In the middle of the night, he goes out and inspects meat packing plants for the USDA to make sure that the meat that we eat is properly prepared, stuff like that. He said, I've lived in this town for 20 years and I've been stopped at least 15 to 20 times in the middle because I'm a black guy driving a car in the middle of the night. And it's a government car. And so there are people that say, yeah, that's a thing of the past, but it's something that you've endured and something that people like Daryl have as well too. So it's important for us to remain sensitive to things like that and not be part of the problem, but part of the solution.
Right.
I'm not preaching anymore, I promise. All right. So now you got into the place where you had been divorced. You've been married for 13 years. Then what happened? We're up to like 2007, 8, 9?
2009.
Okay.
That I left.
Okay.
It was actually like a couple of days after our anniversary.
Okay.
And I decided to leave. We had challenges. Sometimes I think financial throughout the years have played a part in it. But when we got married, I was working. He had his own business. Actually right after we got married, we opened up a nightclub.
Okay.
And so we had our own business, and plus he was like a DJ.
Okay.
And so we had money, we had a lot of money.
Okay.
And then with the nightclub, someone threw a firebomb in there, and it was in Rockingham. So someone threw a firebomb in there. And see, at the time we lived in Laurinburg because he's originally from Laurinburg. So when someone threw a firebomb in there, and so we wait in for the investigations, insurance to take place. And so I told him, I said, well, I'm going back to church. And so I started back going to church a lot. And his dad was a preacher.
Wow.
His father was a preacher. And so, but he didn't go to church or any of that stuff. And so I told him one day, he said, well, I don't understand the Bible. And like the King James Bible. And so I went to buy him a New Living that Bible. So I went to go buy him that Bible. And so he started reading the Bible. And so, because he said, when I get started with this, I'm not going to play with it. And so he dove into the Bible, and, he read the Bible all the time, and we started going to church and having Bible study and things like that. But, even though you're into the church or going to the church, you still have that evil spirit of some sort still come in to drive a wedge, within your relationship.
That's what happened.
Yeah. And so we were like disciplined. We did not like go to, like on Sundays, we didn't go to stores. I mean, if we would go to my mother's house to eat dinner. That was our Sunday outing. Right. Or, we was really dedicated. Right. We would have Bible study with his father and his brother and his wife. And so we were really dedicated, and, just through financial and, other thing, arguments. I think that like drove, the marriage, to a head. Right. And so, and we had our small kids. However, he had kids before he and I married. They still my kids. I have a stepson, Quentin, and Quentin is 36. Okay. And I was around, I think Quentin was in the 5th grade when I came around. And then Ty is 30, I think Ty is 33, 32, 33. And then we had his daughter, Alexis. Alexis passed away at 19. Probably like a year before we got separated. Wow. And she was 19 years old. She had aneurysm, and she had her baby. She had a 7-month-old baby at the time she passed away. And so that was real tough.
Oh, absolutely.
It was real tough. And so, her mother raised her son. So, yeah.
So once you decided to leave, where did you go? What did you do?
Well, when I decided to leave, I moved across town. My kids and I moved into a townhouse. And, but it was very challenging because, my husband at the time didn't want us to leave, but I felt like I needed to leave. I felt as though I didn't leave to like not come back. I just felt like we needed a break. And some people say, no, you should stay. But I felt like I really needed a break because when you like with someone and you're arguing and you tend not to like that person anymore, and you tend not to like yourself anymore. And me being a happy-go-lucky, high-spirited, high-energy person, I felt myself not really liking myself. I felt depressed, and I wasn't happy. I had my own business selling Mary Kay. I was a sales director, and I mentored a lot of people. But it got to the point where I didn't even want to do that anymore. I wanted to still sell sometimes, but I was not in a hurry to do that because I was like not happy. Right. And so, so we moved across town, the kids and I, and like I said, he didn't want us to move. And, it was a lot of stalking or, coming around all the time. Right. And I felt like that wasn't good for the kids. And so after, I think we moved November of 2009, and then July of 2010, I relocated to Mount Holly.
Okay.
And at the time, my biological father lived in Mount Holly.
Okay.
And so my stepmother was like, hey, some apartments they call clusters and shit. So I went and applied there, and so we relocated here.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
So it's 2009. Then take us from 2009 up to today.
Woo! So when I moved, right at the time before I moved, I was working in behavior health.
Okay.
I had actually been working in behavior health since like 1997.
Okay.
And I one-on-one with kids that have behavior issue. And then I helped my 5th grade teacher and one of her colleagues. I helped them build their company in behavior health. Did a lot of interviewing, getting clients, just, networking with a lot of people to help build that business. And then before I moved, I worked administrative assistant with another company. A friend of mine asked me to first to do networking, and I did that. And then she said, hey, I need an administrative assistant. It's like, okay. So I left that job. I just left the job. I mean, they knew I was leaving, but I left the job. I didn't have income except selling Mary Kay. I was awarded unemployment because I left for domestic reasons. So I had that income, and then I was going to school online. And so I had like in that income to kind of like help me get through. But like a regular job, I didn't have a regular job. And so I had a BMW when my kids and I relocated. And I think I had that car like 10 years. And I was having issues, and my windows wasn't rolling down. My air was messed up. And I need another car. So I took my last check from administrative assistant job. I took that last check and got a car in Belmont. Okay. I forgot the name of the place. But anyway, so I bought a little PT Cruiser, and that had low payments because I didn't have a car payment. I hadn't had a car payment ever with me and my husband. We always bought things with cash. And so I was like, okay, now you got a car payment. So I got that car. It was dependable. It was cute. It had like 48,000 miles on it. And
did you buy it by chance from the Jeep dealership that was where
Ford,
we are as a church?
Ford dealership.
Ford dealership. Okay.
I can't remember what's the name of it.
Oh gosh,
Keith Hawthorne Ford. Yeah,
right. Yeah.
So I bought it from there.
How about that? Yeah, that's cool. So you got the Belmont Mount Holly tie, and now you're working on your own. You're working on education, and you're also getting some government assistance and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Then what happened?
So during that time, my kids were going to school, and so I had opportunity to be home. And so I would say, okay, I'm going to go out. I'm going to sell Mary Kay. But I would sit there at the kitchen table, and nothing happened. So I just said, okay, what is going on with you? I think I was depressed. For sure I was depressed. And so, but I still would go. I learned how to swim. I went to the Y, I learned how to swim. And eventually my kids enrolled them in after school care at the YMCA. And I used to go there, and I would see the sign to say Forest Point Church. And I'm thinking like, where's the church? And I would always look for this church, and I never seen the church at the YMCA. And so one day, I think it was around Christmas time, and I went to pick the kids up from after school care at the Y, and I looked in the gym, and I seen you guys was setting up the church. And so I was like, how about that? And so found out what your hours were, and so decided to come, and the kids absolutely loved it.
Awesome.
Because they had their own class, and then I loved it because I can go in and fellowship and don't have to worry about the kids. Right. And so that's how I became to go to church. Yeah.
Wow.
For a long time.
And so since then, you've had several different things you've done. You still do stuff with the school system. You started out as a substitute teacher at schools?
Yeah. So I started out as at school because I wanted to know what my kids were doing in school. Wanted to kind of like get an idea like what it is about Gaston County schools. So I started subbing in the schools, and I started subbing at Mount Holly Middle School. That was one of the main schools I subbed at. And that following year, that summer, I got a phone call, and it was 2 positions available. It was like behavior lab teacher, and then what was the other position? Students that, had disabilities. And so I chose the behavior lab teacher. And so I did that. I worked there for a year or so. And then the following year, I went to work at Cramerton Middle School. And I loved it. Working in the school system, started coaching. I started coaching at Mount Holly Middle School, assistant. Okay. And then at Cramerton Middle School, I was the head track coach for girls. Okay. And then after that, the position I had was ending. And so then I transferred and was hired with the Department of EC with students with, exceptional children.
Right, EC Central.
EC students. And so I started working there. Wow. And then I also, too, started coaching track at Ashbrook High School.
Okay.
And I'm still doing both those jobs. So working with the Department of Exceptional Children, my students are housed at Gaston College. And they don't have special needs. They have special abilities. They are so awesome from the age of 18 to 22. And we teach them employability skills, independent living skills. They are very smart. We teach them to build their own resumes. And so they just, we partner with people on campus to do internships. So they're getting, they're volunteers and they're getting experience working. And so they treat it just like it's a job. So when they come in, they have to clock in. And so it's very rewarding.
So somebody that has a Down syndrome niece, Stacy, and a sister with cerebral palsy, I really appreciate people like you that go the extra mile to help people that are a lot of times left behind. And they have such unique abilities, different abilities. I like the way, not disabilities, but different abilities.
Special abilities.
Special abilities.
Yeah. So my title there is job coach supervisor.
All right. So, but you also do another job now in addition. And sometimes you work almost 24 hours a day. What's your newest job?
Oh my goodness. So I work at Amazon.
Okay.
I started working at Amazon, actually 3 years.
2020?
2020, 3 years now. And so I started working at Amazon so I can have more money to purchase a house. And so I didn't really think I was going to be there as long as I have been. So I've had different roles in Amazon. So now I'm there. My job title there now is seal auditing. Okay. So thank you guys for ordering from Amazon. Making sure the packages are sealed. Is that making sure the packages are sealed.
So you see them going down the line. If there's one not sealed well, you make sure to send it back.
they're sealed. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Amazon has a very unique system. Very unique system. But we make sure everybody get their packages.
Well,
make sure they're happy.
Well, it's like the mall has come to your house and it's in your hand now. And somebody else is going to deliver it. And they're going to take it back to the dressing room for you if it doesn't fit. Right. And then you're going to bring it back and take it back and bring it back. Yep. To me, it's just amazing. I love it, but I sometimes feel like, man, the kind of stuff we put people like you through to have to get our stuff. We want to get our stuff, right?
Yeah, you said a mouthful, put us through, because it is peak season, it's Christmas season.
What does that mean for you?
It means that I work extra hours, like a whole lot of extra hours. So
like 55 hours a week,
55 hours right now a week. So
plus your other job, which is an 8 to 3 job.
8 to 3
at Gaston College.
At Gaston College.
So some days you're maybe getting an hour and a half of rest between starting your first job and your second job.
Yeah. So my regular shift at Amazon is 36 hours a week. It's Thursday through Saturday.
Okay.
From 6:30 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Okay.
So now I'm doing the peak season. It's mandatory. They added on 2 more days. Right. So we're like working 11-hour shifts. So I'm going there now at 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Wow.
And so this past week was the first week of peak for me. And so, no, I have not got a lot of rest. So work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then last night. So I got off work Sunday, got off work yesterday morning, right? At 6 o'clock. Went home, took a shower, got dressed, and had to be at the college at 8 to like 3:30. And then I went back to work at Amazon, came home to get like a couple hours of sleep, went back to Amazon at 6:30 and got off at 6 again. So on my breaks, I sleep on my breaks. I would go to my car. I have a pillow and a blanket, and I would go in there and I would nap.
How long are your breaks?
First break First break is 30 minutes, and then the second break is like 3 a.m. for like 45 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So while y'all are out there enjoying your Thanksgiving meal and ordering all this stuff from Amazon, that's not to make you feel guilty, but it is to say this: there are a bunch of people that make that happen, like Tywannia, and I just so much admire you for all you've accomplished and been able to do all these. So you've been working 70, 80, 90 hours a week sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes I really do. And, a lot of people say, I don't know how you do it. And I'm like, I don't know how I do it either.
Yeah.
Nobody but God. Right? Yeah, nobody but God. Because, as I get older, I'm like, okay, it's got to be a better way. But like I said, I took the job so I can have, more money to purchase a house. Mm-hmm. And, what kept me going was I would say to myself, you don't have to do this for the rest of your life.
Right.
But you got to do it now.
Yeah.
And so,
what a great attitude to have.
That's kept going.
All right. So let's transition a little bit. So you got your kids through college and they're taking care of themselves, at least partially, right?
Partially, yeah.
So this kind of thing, you're still kind of helping to fund that. Mm-hmm. So tell us how our church has helped in little ways or small ways or large ways to help you take your next step in your journey with Christ.
Well, I am so grateful for the Point Church. The people there, the friends I've met, the support that I've had since I've been at the Point Church. Because, like I say, it was a time, through this journey with my kids and I, just having one job with the school system, not making a whole lot of money. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes I would wonder, where I'm going to pay this bill, where I'm going to pay that bill. So, and then also, too, came a point where for about, I guess, 3-4 months, my kids and I didn't have a roof over our head where we can call home. Mm-hmm. And so that was very tough for me. Mm-hmm. Very, very tough for me.
Sure.
And
it's tough for anybody.
Yeah, very, very tough. And so the Point Church was very supportive, like I said, and wanted to step in and help in any way they could. You guys could. However, I didn't want to lean on you as far as I want you to do it. You guys do it.
You're used to doing stuff for yourself.
Yeah, I wanted to do it myself. And for me, a lot of people say, you don't like to ask. No, if I ask you, that's mean it's the last resort because I really don't like to ask. Mm-hmm. But, I always had the support of, from the church. And, but like I said, that was very tough for my kids and I. And so what we did, the place I was living, and I'm going to turn it back around and tell you how well how you guys supported us. So the place where we were living in Mount Holly, we had an issue with the electric bill, especially during the wintertime. And I remember, I think the rent was like $650, but I remember one month my electric bill was like over $700. And so I think I lived there like 2 winters, and I was like, I'm not going to do this again. Mm-hmm. Landlord was great, and he was just like, well, okay, if you find something else, just let me know. Because someone else wanted to rent it. I was like, okay, great. So my ex-husband at the time, he was helping me look for a place. He came to visit and he was helping me look for a place. And he said, well, I'm going to help you find a place. Well, I'm going to help you if you need help. It's like, okay. So the kids and I found a place and, was going to do the paperwork and, was going to give the money to pay for this place. Had told the landlord, hey, I'm going to move out. And then my ex-husband was like, no, I'm not going to give you the money. I'll give you money for a U-Haul. But I didn't want to go back and tell the landlord, hey, I'm not moving because he already told someone that they was going to move there.
Right.
And so I bit my tongue and we moved. I packed up all my things and we put it in storage. And I lived with the girlfriend for like a couple of weeks. And my son stayed with one of his friends. So me and my daughter would live with my girlfriend for a few weeks. And then later on, we came to stay with the friend that my son was staying with. Well, I became friends with his aunt. Mm-hmm. And so she let us live there during the weekday. Okay. Weekends, my kids and I, we would drive to Rockingham and we would live with my mom.
Okay.
And so at the time, I'm trying to find a place. Mm-hmm. Not making a whole lot of money, but trying to find a place. I think I was substituting at that time as well. Mm-hmm. And so, like I said, it was very, very challenging. And so then Christmas time came and I told her, I said, well, we're not going to come back after Christmas because I was going to go stay with my mom. Mm-hmm. I said, we're not going to come back after Christmas. And maybe by the time they start back to school, then we'll have a place. Mm-hmm. however, I had I owed some money somewhere with an apartment, I think. I think I owe like a fee. And so I didn't have a whole lot of money, so I had to figure out how I was going to pay this fee. Mm-hmm. So I was substitute teaching, but I was also putting a lot of gas in the car to drive the kids in the back and forth mm-hmm. and trying to feed us. And so anyway, it just became very, very challenging. I applied for the apartment at Brentwood Chase mm-hmm. and I did not get the apartment. Mm-hmm. And my kids and I, we looked at it. We didn't qualify to get the apartment. Mm-hmm. So I was very, very, disappointed. Very disappointed, very stressed. And so then it came time for kids to start back to school. Now, we in Rockingham, but they go to school in Mount Holly. So mm-hmm. what are we going to do? Mm-hmm. So I was driving from Rockingham to Mount Holly so my kids can go to school almost every day. Yeah. And so, And so with the dog, mind you, I got a grandpuppy named Rose. So we would load the dog up.
I met Rose too. She's fun.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
And so we would drive, just so they can go to school. So I would leave get them up 4 a.m, get on the road by 5 so they can be at school by 7:30. Wow. And then I had a friend and he was like, hey, T, you can't keep doing this because my daughter at the time, she was cheerleading. He was like, I tell you what, during the time that she have games, you guys can just crash here, in the living room or whatever. That way you can save money on gas. Mm-hmm. And so we did that maybe a couple times, during the week, but I didn't like that either. Mm-hmm. And so still the point church is let us know what you need, what you need assistance with. And so finally I paid that fee, but I still was looking for a place. And then I got a phone call and it was Brentwood Chase. Mm-hmm. But before I got that phone call, my daughter, probably a week before that, my daughter said, Mom, why we're not going to move at the apartment that we looked at? I said, because area, we didn't qualify. Mm. And she said, but we're going to move there. I said, no, baby, we didn't qualify. I said, why you say that? She said, because God said that we're going to move there.
Wow.
And I was thinking she don't know what she's talking about. I was like, she don't know what she's talking about. But, God speaks through our kids. Mm-hmm. And so the next week, I got a phone call from Brentwood Chase. Mm-hmm. And the young ladies were like, hey, I've been looking over your thing. She said, yeah, you owe a fee. She said, can you come by here and we can discuss everything and see what we can work out? I said, sure. Mm-hmm. Went by that day. She told me, hey, you owe this and this. If you take care of this here, mm-hmm. This fee here, then we have an apartment for you. They're going to move out the end of February, and then we'll have it ready for you by March.
What year was that?
I think it was 2016. 2016. Right. I was like, oh, really? I was like, okay. And so around that time, everybody always filed their income taxes, and I got my income taxes back, and I took care of the fee, paid my deposit, and just waited until it was time for us to move in. And my kids and I moved in March the 10th. And so we went in there and we slept on the floor, and it was a breath of fresh air mm-hmm. because driving from Rockingham almost every day, I felt like I was a failure to my kids. Mm. And my kids, they would sleep, they would go to sleep in the back seat, and they didn't know that mommy was crying the whole time I was driving. Wow. Because I just felt like I was a failure to my kids. Mm-hmm. But I had to learn to forgive myself. Mm-hmm. I had to learn to forgive myself. And God was speaking to me, and he was just like, he told me to not depend on man, because I had depended on my ex to help me. And God didn't want that. He wanted me to know that all the help came from him. Wow. He didn't want anyone holding anything over my head and say, I did that for you. I did that for you. No, God wanted to say, hey, I did this mm-hmm. for you. And even though we know that God uses people, mm-hmm. but he uses the right people.
That's right.
To come in our life and be there for us. And so I forgave myself, and God blessed us. And, like I said, but throughout the years, it still had been a challenge. But one thing I do know about myself is that I have bounce back ability. Right. And I know that in the midst of the storm, I know that I can spread my wings.
Wow.
And so
you definitely have. So in the midst of all this, you decided to say, I'm going to do something about making my housing permanent as well.
Permanent housing. So
what happened then?
So after that, told the point, they was like, hey, happy we got yourself an apartment. But then someone from the church had mentioned, hey, won't you try Habitat? They build houses. And I was like, I never thought about Habitat. Mm-hmm. So a couple of friends from the church mentioned Habitat. And I went to Habitat and I applied. And they came out to see my house, see the apartment. And I didn't get approved because the apartment was falling apart. Mm-hmm. I lived in a very nice area. I love, Brentwood Chase was a very nice, quiet area. Mm-hmm. It was because I didn't make a whole lot of money and I had a whole lot of expenses. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, I got approved. And the approval, is designed for you not to be in the program a long, long time. Mm-hmm. But I was very adamant about what I wanted and where I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. And so I always told them, hey, I want to live in Belmont and Mount Holly. So anyway, jumped in, I had to do like 325 hours, me and my kids.
And tell us about that. What is it? 325 hours. Are you working on somebody else's home that's moving in?
Volunteer hours. So we're working on other people's homes. Mm-hmm. At that time, I would volunteer at the Restore, mm-hmm. Which I enjoy working there. I volunteered at the Restore, volunteer working on other people's homes. I think at that time I volunteered, maybe other places, maybe at the churches and stuff. So,
right.
So I had to do that and just, spend my time and, serving other people.
Right.
Yeah, serving other people.
So as a result of that, you inspired me and they asked me to be on the Habitat for Humanity board.
Oh.
So I got on the Habitat for Humanity board in part because you had taken the process so seriously, and I discovered that one of the things that people have in their minds, including me, mm-hmm. before I did this, was, Habitat gives people houses. Mm. No, and it's not like that at all. You go through this process where you're volunteering to build other people's houses. Mm-hmm. You're volunteering in the Restore. You're doing volunteer service in the community, mm-hmm. in the church, and all that's part of it. And I mean, to me, that makes it a very admirable kind mm-hmm. of thing. And so to make a long story short, tell us what you just did.
I just closed on my brand new home. September the 18th. Yeah. Through Fantastic. Habitat. Yeah, absolutely.
It's awesome.
Absolutely.
We're so proud of you. And just 2 weekends ago, or was it last weekend?
Yeah, it was like 2 weekends ago.
2 Saturdays, you had an open house and I got to go there and just beautifully furnished and neat and clean and met your extended family. Mm-hmm. And we're just so grateful for your determination and your willingness to keep doing that.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
A lot of people can't make it.
No, it was, like I said, it was very tough, but you just got to stay at it. I'm not going to say it was easy, because sometimes you have doubt and you wonder, okay, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? Like, why is this here happening? Why is that happening? Why is this a roadblock? But you have to stop and you have to take a breath and you have to let God lead you. Mm-hmm. You have to just slow down. Sometimes he said, just calm, mm-hmm. just calm down. I got this. Mm-hmm. Because it was time, I didn't want to seem like I was ungrateful, but it was times that, I was just like, you know what, forget this. It was times I wanted to just throw in the towel. Mm-hmm. I had the support of a lot of my lady friends in the women's ministry. Mm-hmm. They supported me and they was like, hey, T, you can't give up. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I can't give up.
Right.
And so, I kept going.
You want to give any shout outs out there to anybody?
Yeah. All my lady friends from the Point Church ministry. Hello, especially my heart just goes out to Angie. Love you, Angie Howard. I just love all those ladies. They are so. That's awesome. They're awesome. They said I keep them laughing. I don't know about that. But anyway.
Well, you really, when I think about you, I think about this one word is resilience.
Oh, thank you.
Is that you've been tough, but also kept a tender heart and a tender spirit about yourself. And you care about people that live on the margins and you've had to live there yourself. And mm-hmm. it's just very admirable to see that you've been able to pull yourself up and to be able to do this with God's help and with the help of people that are around you. And you got 2 grown children that are doing great things. And but now you're still working these 3 jobs. You make me, I need to go take a nap for you. I feel like, oh my goodness, she has got to be
tired. I am absolutely tired. but I have a lot of energy, but I'm tired, but I have a lot of energy.
Yeah.
I'm basically trying to figure out, like, honestly, what my next steps are.
Right.
Because as much as I like working at Amazon, love with my students, love coaching, I still need to, I'm working to figure out, okay, what are your next steps?
Right.
So a lot of things that I want to do. I am a goal-oriented person. I have a goal poster, a vision board. I write down my goals. And so I'm looking like, okay, so what is it that you want to do? What is it that you like doing? And so I'm just, working to figure that out. And hopefully I have it figured out by the beginning of the year.
I hope so too. Well, there could be somebody out there watching, and now you've heard this story, and you know that you've got a place for Tywannia, and maybe the next thing for you to do is to reach out and call us, say, how do I get in touch with Tywannia, because I need somebody like her in our company. Wow. Or business or educational circles or whatever.
Thank you.
Wow. So just a lot of stuff there that I'm just so grateful for. Let me ask you some random kind of questions now. You've been all over America.
Yeah.
Except for Hawaii and Alaska.
I suppose I went like back in April. That didn't work out.
North Dakota, South Carolina, South Dakota. You've worked
I didn't
there.
go to South Dakota. I went to Mexico.
You went to Mexico too?
Yeah. You know what? Actually, when I was traveling around the country, and we were in San Diego.
Okay.
At that time, we had an opportunity to just cross the border to go to Tywannia.
Yeah.
I learned a whole lot of things there.
Yeah.
So that was the first time going into Mexico. But last summer, my sister and we took a trip to Cabo, Mexico.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So you worked there, but now you vacation there too. That's cool.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, so what is one of your favorite states? Do you have a favorite experience in a certain state or states that are important to you?
I do. I like California.
Okay.
My favorite city, I think, was San Diego.
Okay. San Diego is a pretty clean city.
Beautiful.
Right there on the water. Navy SEALs train there.
Yes.
All that kind of stuff.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Interesting. I was there the year of 2020, staying at a nice hotel on the Coronado Bay Resort or something like that. And I said, I went to the lady that was the, concierge. And I said, so I'm getting ready to go across the bridge and that kind of stuff. Where should I go? And she said, do you want to know the best place to eat? And I said, yeah. And she said, it's this little dive that's right by the water. And it's got this sandwich called the Animal. And
it was a big sandwich?
It was a big old sandwich.
Oh, wow.
I got it. And she was exactly right.
Oh.
Right.
What kind of sandwich was it?
It's like a little bit of everything. There was a little bit of chicken in it. There's a little bit of barbecue in it. There's a little bit. That's why they call it the Animal.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
That sounds like a heart attack.
It does sound like that, but it was good. I didn't have one yet. She was about as big as this little arm right here. I was going like, where in the world did you ever eat one of these little animals? But anyway, it was very good. That's crazy. So San Diego is one of your favorite cities. You've been out of the country to Mexico. Have you been anywhere else out of the country?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I have Dubai on my bucket list. I have Africa on my bucket list.
Here you go.
Absolutely.
You can make that happen.
Yeah, I can.
There's no doubt about it.
I can.
I'm going to call some of my friends at World Vision and see if we can get you on a trip or something.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
You volunteer to do that. So do you like the West Coast better or the East Coast?
I'm still an East Coast girl.
All right. So you like California, you like San Diego, but you like East Coast.
I'm still an East Coast girl. And the funny thing is, first time I went to New York is when I took my daughter to school. Yeah. And since then, I have been in New York probably 10 times.
All right. So New York or Washington, D.C.?
New York.
Okay. What do you like about New York?
Well, one thing I don't like is the subways.
Yeah.
But I like the people. I like the people. It's just a lot to do.
Buzz?
I like to do. It's a lot to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot to do.
Be a place like the city that never sleeps. For a reason.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So when you go on vacation, I think you've kind of given this away. You're probably going to go to a beach kind of resort instead of somewhere like the mountains or the desert or something like that.
The beach. And that's funny because my daughter came home about 2 weeks ago. About 2 weeks ago. Yeah. 3 weeks ago. But anyway, she and I took a road trip and traveled to the Gulf Coast, Orange Beach, Alabama.
Fantastic.
Yeah. She's dating a great fella and Cole. And Cole's mother moved from Pennsylvania to the Orange Beach. Yeah. And so she wanted to have like an early Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah. And so Ari and I drove down there and spent a few days down there. And then she flew back and Rose and I drove back. So anyway.
So where did you have a bad experience and you never want to go back? Well, I know Texas, obviously.
Yeah, even though I've been there several more times since then. Bad experience that I never want to go back.
or just, a state that wasn't as welcoming or whatever for you?
Let's see, a state that wasn't.
It's hard for you to find something negative to say.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. It really is, because every state I went to like a lot of the major cities, so I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I even enjoyed Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, okay.
They had good food.
Yeah,
yeah,
good food. Oklahoma City's pretty country. Absolutely, it's kind of flat.
It's very flat,
but it's good.
Yeah.
So, are you a barbecue person, or you like West barbecue, or like North Carolina barbecue?
I really don't like a lot of barbecue.
Okay.
But if I do, I would eat North Carolina barbecue.
Okay. You like the sweet sauce or the vinegary sauce?
Vinegar.
You like this? Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that stands out there. I like it. So are you a person that enjoys ice cream or cake?
Ice cream.
All right. What kind?
Oreo.
Oreo. Okay.
Yeah. I used to eat cake when I was a little girl. I don't eat a lot of sweets.
Yeah. Okay. But the Oreo ice cream stands with you.
Yeah. But the funny thing, I haven't bought ice cream in a while.
Do you have a favorite place you'll go to get ice cream, like Dairy Queen or Tony's Ice Cream or Creamery, Seven Creamery, whatever those fancy creamery places are?
I have found myself to like Tony's.
Tony's, okay.
Yeah, and they have good food.
Yeah, they do have good food.
Yeah, I like Tony's.
Absolutely. Mr. Tony sits over there in the corner. He watches everybody scoop the ice cream out, all that kind of stuff. So if you like Oreos, and by the way, this is like a public service commercial for Oreos right now because I like them too. My favorite new Oreo product is an Oreo ice cream bar. I don't know if you have one of those.
No, I haven't had that.
It's about that much ice cream on a stick, a little flat stick. And I used to eat brown mules because I thought, not really brown mules, but the ice cream brown mules that Pet made, but they quit making them. So I tried to find a substitute. It's just like a little bit of heaven on a popsicle stick. It's just amazing. So you got Oreo ice cream mixed in, then they've crushed up the crust. And so the crust of the whole bar is like all crunchy and everything.
I think I might need to try that.
Oh, it's magical. Now they cost about $2 a piece in the store, but if you buy them at Walmart, you can get them for $1. So I just want to let you know we're looking and fishing for our first Walmart sponsorship here for the Next Step Podcast and or Oreo sponsorship. We got it right here. We're excited about that. Well, it's been such an honor and pleasure talking to you. Before we close today, I'd like to ask you, is there something that you would leave with people that are out there that maybe is a scripture verse that's a favorite of yours, or something like the saying that you shared with us that you learned a long time ago about what would be some wisdom that you would share with people who are interested in taking their next steps with Jesus and applying spiritual concepts to their lives?
I would say never give up. Earlier I said, never be afraid to do more than you get paid for, because a day will come when you get paid for more than you do. Because it's really not all about money. It's about helping others, and it's about serving others. And also, too, if you find something that you enjoy doing, you'll do it for free. But like I said, just never give up. Even whenever you feel as though things are tough and you're not going to make it, believe me, it's around the corner is whenever the doors open. Another thing I remember, my kids and I, years ago, they were small, they were in the car seat, and we were driving from Rockingham to Lauenburg, from my mom's to my home in Lauenburg, and it was raining so hard. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I seen cars stopping along the road, and I was driving my little BMW, and I was just like, these people are stopping, and maybe I should stop, because it was raining so hard. And so I stopped because I seen other cars stop. And then when I stopped, I seen other cars passing by. I said, well, they passing by, then maybe I should get on the road. And as soon as I got on the road, it was maybe a half of a mile. The rain had stopped. And it was sunny. And God spoke to me then. And he said, in the midst of the storm, he said, don't stop. Slow up, but keep going.
Wow.
And so, guys, in the midst of the storm, don't stop. Just keep going, because you never know, whenever you get through that storm, it will be sunshine. It would be light at the end of the tunnel. So I just encourage you guys to keep moving. In the midst of the storm, spread your wings.
Wow. So it's Thanksgiving. So I thank God for you and
thank you.
all you've been able to accomplish and your resilience. And, You guys, it's a pleasure always to get to know you and for you to get to know people. So when you see Tywannia, whether it's at church or at Gaston College or outside the Amazon warehouse or the track at Ashbrook High School, you'll know that it's Tywannia. Just thank you for sharing your life with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.